welcome back to Food Prep Guide. We are back today with a quick recipe for you. I'm going to do my best to bring you all the recipes that we mentioned in the Great Depression video, where we talked about 10 kind of habits and recipes and just ideas that was prevalent in the Great Depression when people were having very hard times with their groceries and being able to afford things and make things. So one of those recipes that we mentioned was one of the most popular desserts from my understanding. I've done a lot of reading, I've done a lot of chatting with people who lived in those days, and it appears that bread pudding was one of the ways that they kind of used up something that would otherwise be tossed aside, which they didn't toss aside anything back then. But stale bread is something that a lot of us would just kind of toss out to the chickens or even just put it into the trash can. But stale bread is a fantastic way to turn it into bread pudding. You can also turn it into croutons. I've been thinking about maybe bringing you all a video on that as well. If you're interested in making croutons, please let me know in the description box below. I mean, the comment box below, if that's something you'd be interested in. But we're going to be focusing on bread pudding today. I have some bread that is not quite stale. Some of it is just mostly like in pieces from a bunch of different loaves of bread that somehow just get left and tossed to the side. And that's a good time to go ahead and make bread pudding too, is when you don't have stale bread, but you just have a lot of ends that nobody really wants to eat, at least in my family. Toss them into this quick dessert. It's also a great way to use up those jams and jellies and pie fillings and things that might be lurking in the back of your pantry going unused. I'm going to show you how I will use that in this recipe as well. Okay, let's get started.
By the way, if you would like help building your food storage, scroll down to the description box of this video and click this link for our free 1-year food storage plan. We calculated a year's supply of food for one person, then broke that data down into a week-by-week list of items to build your pantry on a budget. We'll send it straight to your inbox. If you're new here, we invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss all of our upcoming food preservation, pantry storage, and gardening tutorials. Now back to the kitchen.
So I went ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to start with our bread. We need approximately 4 cups of bread, and I didn't have 4 cups worth of the end pieces here, so I went ahead and added just a couple of other pieces of bread to hopefully get about 4 cups. That said, I don't measure. I find that an 8x8 baking dish is kind of a good measuring cup. I basically will just almost fill this up about 3/4 of the way with just chunked up pieces of bread. I'm just, pulling them into sizes about like this, but that doesn't have to be precise. And I just do that about 3/4 of the way before adding our mixture. I mentioned this is one of those recipes, it's kind of like flavoring oats or making pies, where there is just so many different ways that you can do this. I'm going to be showing you one of our favorite ways. But just bear in mind that you can choose whatever type of flavorings that you want. The base recipe will be the same, kind of like that sweet quick bread mix that we have on the channel, where the base recipe is going to be the same, but then you can add in all kinds of flavorings and stuff that you like. That's about right. I'm going to do one more piece of bread. But anyway, the base mixture is going to be the same. And then you can just add in whatever flavorings you want. So let's move into that base mixture. I'm not going to use that piece of bread, so I need to put that back. Let me get rid of these crumbs. Okay, so for our base mixture, we need 2 cups of milk. It doesn't matter what kind of milk. If you're dairy-free, this can absolutely be dairy-free milk. And then we need 2 eggs. I'm going to go ahead and scramble them. These are kind of small. We have a batch of hens that are about 7 months old, so they've just now started laying, but it's also freezing cold in January. So they're not laying very much, and the eggs are very, very small. So it's possible that this mixture really isn't going to be liquidy enough. But when I pour it over the bread, I will see if I need to add an extra egg or even just some extra milk. Ooh, that's sticking to the bowl bad. Let me get a spatula. I don't want to waste all that. Although with the price of eggs right now, this probably isn't very frugal. I feel really bad with the price of eggs right now. Okay, whoops. So 2 cups of milk, 2 eggs. We're going to do 3/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to decrease this to about half a cup of sugar because I am adding in some flavoring that has sugar in it. So just bear in mind that if you're going to be adding some kind of flavoring to your base mixture, which is what we're putting in this bowl now, you might want to decrease the amount of sugar depending on what you're adding. So next is going to be a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. This is one of those things that can be, you can use just cinnamon, you could use cloves, you could just leave this out entirely, but I do highly recommend pumpkin pie spice. It's just really, really good. And then we need about a teaspoon of vanilla. Y'all know me, I don't ever measure when it comes to vanilla. Can't have too much, just my opinion. So I'm just going to do about a teaspoon. And that is our base mixture. So if you wanted to just do the base mixture and not add in any jam, jelly, pie filling, anything like that from your pantry, this is what you would do. You would just do this and pour it straight over your bread. But like I said, I am going to be flavoring it, so let me whisk this together really good before I add the flavoring. Okay. So I have blueberry pie filling that was a little bit more liquidy than I intended it to be. So instead of using it in that kind of traditional sense, I've been using it in things like this recipe and cinnamon rolls and such. So, oh, it smells so good. I'm going to use probably less than half of the jar. So maybe about a 1/4 cup. That was a big clump of blueberries. So let me see, that might do it. I mentioned that I'm going to check the consistency of this to see if it needs more liquid or more egg, since those eggs are so small, but it's looking good. You'll be able to, I can't tilt the bowl, it'll spill all over the place, but I'll try to pour it out of the bowl slowly so that you can see kind of how liquidy it is. But that's it, y'all. We're ready to pour it over our bread. And I'm just going to try to get as even a coating over all this bread as possible. But then I'm also going to go through and kind of tamp it down with my spatula to coat any pieces that I didn't quite coat the first round. This type of recipe is kind of like a cobbler in the sense that it's really good topped with vanilla ice cream if you happen to have it. So now I'm just going to make sure that all my pieces of bread are nice and coated and as submerged as possible underneath the liquid, but it's not going to be completely submerged, and that's okay. So I heard the oven beep a minute ago, so it is done preheating. So this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for approximately 45 minutes.
After baking for 45 minutes, here's what the finished product looks like. This is an excellent alternative to a fruit cobbler. It's really quick and easy, but of course it's a lot more bready than a fruit cobbler. But if you're like us, that's your favorite part of the fruit cobbler anyway, is the breading. So this is a really nice treat. That's all for today. I hope this was helpful to y'all, and we will see you next time. Bye!